So, have you channeled them before?
I have spoke to a few of them, but I would get confused because I could hear them all talking like over each other, right?
Yeah.
And then when you messaged me the other day, we were talking back and forth music, remember? We were talking about music and Bob Seger and Neil Young and everything. And then you'd said something about the Bee Gees, and it's like it took me a flashback to my high school years is when the Bee Gees had their big hits, right? And I thought, well, no wonder I haven't been thinking about all of them, because I have talked to them, just chatted, with me, chatting with them, but not putting anything out there in video or anything. And then when you said that Andy had come in to visit you and you're thinking about him, whatever, it's like, well, no wonder he's been popping in quite a bit. So it's like, okay, so it's time to chat. Because sometimes I'll get a whole group of spirit in, and then I have to listen for their voice. But if I don't know their voice when they're in physical, I have to really kind of tap in and ask for an image or something to identify. Because a lot of times siblings sound alike too. Mm-hmm. But I really want to hear their voice when they're in physical, so that it helps me to decipher who's who. Okay.
Well, I don't get their voice as their accent. I just get impressions and images,
and that's okay too.
Yeah.
Either way is good. Yeah.
I get But I watched their documentary that I sent you, so that's why they were in my brain.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah.
So I know there was three of them have passed.
Yes, there's one still alive. Yeah, Barry.
Okay, and Barry's the one I had a crush on growing up. He's the one that had the huge head of hair, right?
Yeah.
And I think he was the oldest. I'm
not
sure.
Yeah.
I think he was the oldest.
Yeah.
But I always had a crush on him, and so he's still in physical. But what I was getting just before we started in between was, I almost started crying, because my son is already transitioned. I thought, I can't imagine what that mother went through with 3 of her 4 or 5 kids have transitioned in her lifetime before she passed, right? I think her husband too. So she went through a lot of grief. Unsurmountable is what I just heard. Unsurmountable amount of grief during that lifetime. Not recognizing and understanding the spiritual teachings like that you and I talk about. Because when you're in it, you don't understand that. You just feel the pain and the grief.
And I also feel like Andy, because I think Andy sticks with me because he's around my age.
Right.
But he's saying
he's a hottie, right? What I remember about Andy, he's going to bring it up. I remember when he was dating the American actress Victoria Principal.
Okay.
Who was 7 years older, but she was in a lot of drama series, television shows. And it was scandalous to be back then to be dating an older woman. You just did, it wasn't, it's no big deal now, but at the time it was wow, Andy Gibb and Victoria Principal, and it was only a 7-year difference, which is nothing anyway. But I know, let's ask him.
Well, he was saying about when you just mentioned the mum, and he was making me feel like he was the closest with her, and that he said mama's boy. So that's what I got
But
from
the
him.
baby.
Yeah.
He's the baby, so he's the youngest, who's the baby. Baby of the gang. Baby of the gang.
Oh, okay, so Pete's...
And now they're all they're all together. Well, Barry, I think there's another sibling still alive.
Yeah.
So, they all endured lots of interconnections and internal struggles with every passing in that family.
Yeah.
So when one person died, say, the father, so when the father passed, it shifted everything, and then when a brother passes, it shifts it. It just kept going and going like it was never ending, oh my God, when is this going to end type of thing. Feels like there was a lot of competition is what I'm getting from them, because they're all kind of talking with each other. There was a lot of competitive within each other, competitiveness. I don't know how close in age they were or anything, but it feels like they were all together all the time kind of thing. So there was a lot of, 2 of them, at least 2 of them had an A personality, and that's why they struggled.
Well, it's funny because as you said that, Robin, I felt Robin's energy really strongly when you said competitiveness. his energy comes through a lot with that.
He was more of the solo act, Andy?
Andy was, yeah. But I said
okay.
Robin, which is the other brother in the Bee Gees.
Okay. So it's look at competitiveness, their spiritual reasons for their life, and how they exited, and different things. And that, to my, so Barry, one or two that are still alive, Barry, and there's another sibling.
I didn't know the other one that's still alive. I thought the other one's passed as well.
Is there another one?
Yeah, there's another one, but I thought he's passed as well. Barry's the only one.
There's three boys that passed, but I think there was another sibling that wasn't in.
Barry's still alive. He's the only one.
Right?
Yeah, okay. He's the only one alive. Yeah.
It feels like there's still another sibling that wasn't in the music act. I don't know. Well, we can check that out.
It sounds like a family secret.
But it feels like those two can bounce off each other.
Okay, yes.
Those two that are alive, right? And then Barry had to step up and be the father figure. Mm-hmm. Okay? Mm-hmm. And took the brunt of that. Mm-hmm. And tried to, ease his mother's wounds. Mm. And in turn now, look at all the wounds that he's had to struggle. But he's watched others, fill their roles as needed in the family. What is this? Two? The two were twins? The two boys were twins?
So it was
and one had a stronger personality than the other one.
Yeah, so it was the Barry the eldest, the twins, and then Andy, the baby.
Okay, so it's the as far as the twins, he said, our mother was blessed with different personalities. I think you're referring to the twins, let alone all of them. The whole, it feels like there's a huge crew of kids, but blessed with the different personalities, addictive personalities, wanting high achiever, overachieving, which led to resentment, not fulfilling their personal needs, more of the conditional love on the external, wanting praise. Not that that's wrong to have praise, but that's kind of like you hear about quite a bit with celebrities or show business, where they feel more connected or oneness when they are performing because they're in their element, in their zone.
Well, that came up in the documentary actually about their father, because their father was a showman, and so he would always be in the back row, kind of egging them on and pushing them. So
which
that
is
makes
stereotypical for a lot of these music families that we channel, right?
Right.
Because they see that they're pushed into it. It's a little different now, but a lot of times where in the past, where a lot of times family was part of management, or the ones that kind of helped them in that kind of screw up the business life sometimes, right? Self-taught. They were self-taught. Okay. They're talking about how high they could say. I don't know if that. And that it was just, or if you want to say a gift from heaven, it was. And they played it and marketed it. It was their niche. Yeah. That's how they could kind of get in there and get in that groove and be able to do this so well. Okay, it was something different than whatever else was out there back in that era. So it was, the timing was all divine timing. It was all perfect timing, all laid out. Instrumental. I don't know who played music instruments. Seems like one was.
I think Robin did.
Okay, one or two were more inclined to writing. It was very easy for them to channel and write songs, which they all meshed together, but that wore on each other.
See, that's what I wanted to know about, is the spiritual, because they were all, they talk about twin flames, in the sense that they were all one unit. What's the spiritual past life thing? What's the spiritual relationship between their creative process?
I just got a past life for them where they were some type of tribesmen, maybe Aborigine or some type of tribesmen, where they had, the drumming around the fire, which was very spiritual. but they had to like physically hurt themselves to like this manhood rite of passage thing, right? Where like you're on your knees and they come and either scar you like with a knife, like across your chest, you know, type of into the brotherhood and different things like that. And there was one of the siblings that was in this life was very fearful of pain and blood or anything like that. So he didn't like fit in to, you know, it's like either you do this or like you're shunned of the tribe. You were forced into the ceremonial thing and how you lived more. He said, if you want to call it savagely, you could, meaning that you would hunt your deer, turn around, put it on the fire and eat it, and you would salvage every piece of the meat.
Yeah. From
the fur to the teeth to everything. Where in addiction, what is coming through with addiction? It's a spiritual reason.
Andy's addiction?
Seems like there was a couple of them that had addictive personality. Well, we all do. We're dormant in us, right?
I mean, well, Andy died more directly because of his...
He had heart failure, didn't he?
Yeah.
At a young age. Let's see. He weakened heart muscle from addiction. So his claim to fame is what killed him, is what he just said. But now that's... the tagline for it is claim to fame, meaning always wanting more, but not being able to be, like he said, he showed me like his not merging with his authentic self. He didn't go, you know, a lot of guys don't go through that in their 20s. You know, he went from fame to bam.
Yeah.
You know? And, and then, of course, look at Ella's siblings, you know, trying to follow footsteps of that too. So there's pressure of him trying to do his own thing, which it feels like he was very successful at, but yet there were still voids he had, and he didn't know how to fulfill them, and that's what the addiction did.
Yeah, and I also get an image, which I wonder if recording sessions are still like this, but it's like him. I feel like drugs are all around, even in the recording process. I feel that very much, and I also feel like, because he's showing me, it kind of looks like, I'm just seeing this scene, and it's like red velvet recording studio. It looks very like teak and very 70s, red velvet everywhere. But certain kinds of drugs, and on one end, there's like hard, like not like really not nice, the really hard ones. But I feel like there are people around him that aren't involved in the creative process, but are just like hangers on. But they would sit in with him when he would be... It feels like a dark party, but it's sad because it's like a business thing. You know, making music should be like, you know, if you go into the Beatles sessions or the other guys, you know, they're making music, they're working. Whereas for him, it's like it was all at the same time at once.
Okay, so he had, like an entourage of fake friends.
Yeah.
He considered his party friends his best friends, and he
right.
couldn't do that. Oh, he's talking about AA or going through getting rehabilitation. How that's what he started to integrate more of his higher self and understand that the universe did really evolve around him. You know what I mean? So that's what he needed. He needed that in this life, to have that experience, to be able to understand, to be more soulful and more purposeful. And he said addiction is dirty. It's just dirty because you're not really your true self. And that's what he wants to give a shout out to all those people who are dealing with addictive family members or themselves. That it's almost, the disease is like a separate version of you. It's like the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. And that the lashing out is... and not being held accountable is what really destroys relationships.
Yeah.
You and I know that. But he came in and he was to try to kick ass in this life, which I apparently did. I don't know anything else about his personal life or anything. Kick ass, and to kick addiction. And it feels like he did. Mm-hmm. But in turn, he had already, abused his body. But that was part of his soul agreement.
Well, them and as a band, they made a lot of difference to the Australian music scene. So from Brisbane. So to have, the small country islands, people from our island in LA doing, it helped our industry a lot. It inspired a lot of young Australians. I feel like he's kind of like, his energy feels really strong with that last statement that I said.
And what a beautiful family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They had kind of had the whole package. Because that era in time, say the 70s, you know what I mean? It's not like now with technology. Everything could be kind of hidden back. You didn't have to talk about it. It was like kept away from the news. Mm-hmm. So it was everything was good boy image, was sold. Like people can be the authentic selves and say, listen, I'm going to write a song. This is about the addiction that I'm dealing with or whatever, and still make money off of it versus love interests. He said also that relationships, I don't know how many women, but relationships helped him. The breaking of relationships all helped him to form a better opinion of himself. Oh, this is for you. Every relationship he had helped him learn more about himself and how to treat others.
I think it's the boys in my life who are learning those lessons.
Well, true, because you're learning how to treat yourself through it and love yourself through it. Yeah,
it's true.
What about the twins? One's going, me.
I think it would be... Well, Robert, I feel his energy the strongest. He's got like long hair. He's quite skinny. I feel like his energy, like he's quite skinny in stature. Like they all had weird proportionate bodies.
Yes, Robin is the thinner face.
Yeah.
Okay. So Robin is very became much more independent, but he needed to have the group. He needed to work through some karma. He said karma, if you want to call it balance of energy, and then become his own solid person. And he said he hurt people along the way, including family members. But he was coming into his own rite of passage. It's going about rite of passage, like the tribal thing. Rite of passage in his own way to come to have his own voice instead of always worrying about whatever, instead of always being a compromise in the group. Mm-hmm. Because you each had your roles to play. And then you outgrow those roles. He said, and sometimes you outgrow the roles without keeping peace. so there
Can
must
you
have been
see,
some risk.
I guess I could ask, but I wonder if he died with something in his head, because I'm feeling on this side of my head like a throbbing. Like I know he had cancer or something. Was there something to do with his head? I'm just feeling, like one of them, because I'm just feeling like this.
With the head.
Something in my head, but it could also just be me not drinking enough water.
No, I'm not getting in the head. I feel pain. I feel both the twins. I feel a lot of pain. Mm-hmm. A lot of physical pain that they endured.
Yeah, I feel lots
before they're crossing.
Pain here, and on the side and back of my head.
Something to do with blood flow. Isn't it strange how they all ended up being that, their hearts literally
couldn't handle it.
Couldn't pump anymore. It's not like they got in a car wreck or anything. It was, a sudden death like that.
Well, I mean, cocaine was really big back then, so, it could also be...
What? The one, who are we talking to? Was it Maurice?
We were talking to Robin first, but... I don't know. Maurice can come through. We were talking to Andy and then Robin.
Physical pain. Yeah. And I can say only because my mother passed of colon cancer. Uh-huh. And so I know one of them had cancer. I don't know which, but I feel that abdominal, and the swelling. The swelling, abdominal, jaundice, cramping. Yeah. And I said, what's the spiritual reason for they're holding on to anger, resentment, hurt, all
course.
that stuff that we all hold on to, but where it manifests into something, in the poop track.
Oh gosh.
Not my colon cancer.
Because it's interesting that you say that, because Barry Gibbs, the last remaining brother, said that what he regrets the most is that he was not on good speaking terms with each brother when they died. At that time, it was always the time in which they were not on good terms, and he regrets that.
That is where, this is why Barry is still here, so he can work through that spiritual awakening of understanding who he is, and to work through that forgiveness, which is the hugest lesson for any person on the planet right now, is to really process that forgiveness. And it feels like this is where Barry is going through that spiritual awakening and understanding that there is more to life than this life. Because how could this happen to him where his family's already passed, you know? It's not that they didn't have the money to fix or to have medical care, they did. So you know that there is a bigger reason that this is not it. So he's still going through a spiritual awakening. And it's helping Barry to be a better father, grandfather, whatever, better person, because he's been through all this, and he can keep the legacy of the family going. It feels like in that tribal, that he was the head, whatever.
He always has to be the head of everything.
Yes, he was. Because he forced his tribe to do these rituals.
Okay.
He forced a meeting because it was tradition, and he felt that it was his God saying, you must do this.
And with their music, because they were talking about how the music, they wanted to make music that the body couldn't help but move. That was their description of them creating disco.
Ooh.
So is that connected with that kind of tribal, with the drumming? It's like the physicality of... Yeah. Because
that is connecting with Mother Earth. Know that when you're disco dancing, you wouldn't think you're going to do it. But there is the pitch of the music, the musical notes, the higher ones resonate, the higher notes resonate with the higher chakras. So you move in that energy. And dancing, what better way? I mean, there's drum circles are still popular today, or singing bowls or anything like that. Fire, being around a fire, because fire is an element, right? So
it's such a cool way to think about disco.
Yeah. Fast on your feet with the disco, right? It's just more choreographed. But they're showing me the drum circles where Barry was the father figure. And so he had the shorter life in that life, so it kind of flipped it in this life. I mean, I'm sure there were multiple lives going on that are even going on now. They're showing me this one because it's pertinent to what we're talking about. And that in that life, he had more or less control to say over other people, because he was the person, right? He was the head of the council. I don't know, tribal. I'm not going to use the right terms, but and no disrespect for that either. But they were very in tune with themselves and their body, but they felt that everything was like a sacrifice to everything. Like you would pray over the animal that you were going to eat. Everything was about a ritual. Everything was very ritualistic. So the singing that they all picked up, being it was very natural for them, it was very natural because it was already in their cellular level on DNA. Isn't that cool? Just a whole different genre. But same thing. Many spiritual reasons and lessons also for the mother who outlived her kids. That's huge. That's huge.
Cool.
She wanted to... What is this? She didn't get to watch them in another life. I don't know if it's the same life or not. It'd take another 5 minutes to get into it. But see, where she didn't get to watch them grow up and and have long, fulfilling lives. She didn't get to in a different life. So this one, I'm going to outlive them all, practically. But to see that they're all safe, and follow, be able to be a part, still a structure and a mother figure in their life. And so she got to in this life. And she said it was unbearable at many times.
No.
Yeah, as you can imagine. What's the stomach? Still getting the stomach pain. So someone, who's the other brother we didn't talk to yet?
Maurice.
So there's something to do with the stomach. So both the twins have pain in the stomach.
Oh, interesting.
So this is where we carry in our sacral chakra, you know, all the lower chakras. We carry all our emotions, all our baggage.
Yeah.
Right? These are all the spiritual chakras, all our baggage. So this is to help us. He said to teach you and I to help work through forgiveness of each other, whether it's with siblings, family, friends. You work through it and you move past it and go, okay, I learned from that. You know, I don't have to tolerate this, or I can if I, you know, whatever. It's figuring out yourself. And being kind to yourself. There's two of them that are talking, going, no, not be hard-headed. Don't be pig-headed. They're talking about how they would nitpick over things, and it was really frivolous looking back at it. How frivolous it was at the time. Because they were a fine-tuned system. It feels like they had such a crew around them to help them produce this music, you know, and push it and advertise it, all this. Yeah, that was very fine-tuned. And he said, look at any other major artists, or, you know, whether they're blood siblings or not. He goes, they go through their strife and through the different changes, just like we do as people. It's the same thing. It's a business. It's really a business. And that you grow with the times, but a lot of people don't want to grow with the times in the band. They either want to keep it the same, or they get stagnant and they want out, you know, and then, maybe they're running out of money, so let's come back together. We'll come out of retirement, start another tour or whatever, you know what I mean, revamp something. He goes, there's no right or wrong. And as far as the country, it was to help the country, your country, Australia.
Yeah, it was to help us. Cool.
Yeah.
Any last notes on disco? A fun memory or a fun...
Disco will never die. Because you can't help it when you hear some of the songs, right?
No, you can't. Even watching the film, like, it's amazing. You have to dance.
You have to, you just start humming it or whatever. You have to.
Yeah.
You can't help it.
Yeah.
So it's so different. He goes, it's not that their music, it's not that they're not involved still in the music. They are. They help to influence some of the new artists.
Yeah, well, I've just been listening to a new girl called Dua Lipa, who's British, and she's very disco. She's very groovy. I think she's very influenced by them.
It says any of the kids, I don't know, are any of these children of the Gibb brothers, are they any of them involved in music? Feels like there's recheck later. Feels like some of them are involved in arts, whether this is acting.
Yeah, the Gibb children
music,
pay tribute to the Bee Gees as the Gibb Collective.
The Gibb Collective?
They're in a band called the Gibb Collective. Yeah.
Well, you'll have to check it out. I don't know when you know.
Yeah, it's the children of the family. They're called the Gibb Collective.
Go. So they're helping to influence. Oh, they're even going to step in. It's no different, he said, than Elvis helping his daughter, Lisa Marie.
Oh.
Or any of his, descendants to help in the music industry. Because it's already in the bloodline. It's already there. You just got to bring it to life.
That's so funny. And it's the children from all the brothers together, which is nice.
How cool is that?
That's so cool.
Now, is there someone named Adam, or close to the name Adam?
Let me check my handy dandy dictionary.
Is there some correlation?
There's Adam, yeah. Wait, Adam okay. Gibb. There's an Adam Gibb, but I don't know Uncle Robin. So, there is an Adam. There's an Adam.
Okay. So there's my connection there too.
And he's in this great photo with Robin, and Robin's got John Lennon glasses, and he's looking goofy.
They're talking about you being strong and independent, which you are. And you're going to come more into your own in the next, 5-10 years. Because you're already beautiful and amazing as you are. But you'll see that you're going to feel even more standing taller and stronger. Do you have, leather boots? Yeah, you do. So you're going to stand taller and stronger in your leather boots, even, just through the more channeling you do and everything else, because you're going to feel like this oneness and connection all the time, whether it's through your ancestors, descendants, through your friends who have passed, you're going to start feeling that. You're going to feel the drum circle. You're going to start feeling that beat even more in your heartbeat. He said your heartbeat is not just your heartbeat. It's the heartbeat of the world, of the planet, and everyone who's passed before you. You're going to feel it, and you're just going to explode even more as a person, as a human.
That was a little unexpected message from them. I wasn't expected that.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that's really nice. Is there connection with me? Is there a connection? Is there connection with me? Like an Australian thing? Is that why they? I don't know. Is that why they?
Yes, and they want you to continue practicing channeling more and more. It's not even practicing; you are channeling. It's just putting yourself out there because it pathways, opening up more pathways. And then all of a sudden you're going to get something, and you're going to hear something loud, and you're going to go, "Oh my God, that wasn't just Andy. That was Andy's voice I heard, or I felt him not inside me, but you felt like his energy inside me. You know what I mean? It'll just get stronger, and you're going to go, and then you're going to text me and go." I think Andy was sitting in my lap, kind of feeling.
I actually felt like he was sitting on my lap a few minutes ago. When I've done this before with my ex when my ex-boyfriend was writing, and I would be like, get off the computer, let me I felt him just sit in front of me.
So you're going to have more moments just like that, and which is cool, and you can't deny it.
Excuse me.
Then you won't worry about other things. He's not saying frivolous, because it's not frivolous. You're not going to worry about all those other things in your life because of looking wait a minute, I know everything's working out for my highest and best. Yeah. I'm not going to question it. I'm not going to fear the future. I know it's all working out because I got the give boys with me.
I should spend more time connecting with them. That's cool.
Yeah, so they're quite a bunch, and they're very lively, and they're comparing chests right now. I don't know what that means, but they're comparing their chests.
Oh, yeah.
Why mine's hairier than yours? No, I have no hair. That kind of thing. And I know they're being funny, but it's great because it just shows you how humorous they are, and that there's no rifts between them on the other side. See?
Yeah.
That's all human. That's all human stuff. That's all human stuff.
Oh, if only Barry could hear.
He's coming in. Gosh, he's got to be in his 70s, right?
Yeah, he's
Barry?
old.
He's coming into his own. He's spiritually evolving, and he knows there's so much more.
Okay.
How can he not question it when he knows his pain? He's not in the grief. It's just that. And same thing, with me, with my son. I can talk to him many times, and yet, if there's moments you have where you feel separate. There's a separateness, but that's not. There isn't. It's just we're the ones that are feeling separate because we're not feeling that connectedness. We're not connecting with Mother Earth. Once we connect with Mother Earth, then we know that they're right here. They keep saying that, the importance of the ground with the tribe. Being barefoot on the dirt, because when you're grounded, you feel that deep connection, almost like you have roots coming through you, holding you on the earth. Because one of them just said, "No, that's gravity." So they're joking with one another. That is, we are all part of Mother Earth. We're all part of the Gaia. We're all in this together. There's not a separateness. So once you feel more connected with that, then But everyone, he said grief is a powerful tool to help push someone past their limits, purposely.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Cool. All right.